So, hi, sir. Good day. This is my answer with a Week 10, Chapter 5, Lesson 2, Purpose and Methods of Assessment. To begin with a Let's Practice question. Briefly describe below how monitoring, assessment, and evaluation should be done in a multi-grade classroom. So, in a multi-grade class, you might want to keep an eye on each of your students each day. Then, asking them informally to check their knowledge, skills, and understanding. Then if you notice there's any difficulty or misunderstandings, try to adjust your lesson and deliver them right away because it is one of the rules which a multi-grade teacher must carry out is to monitor the progress of people's learning so as to ensure a quality of education. Therefore, assessment should be considered a continuous and integral part of the teaching process. So if I were given a chance to choose how well my teacher will assess my understanding of the lesson, I would prefer to have the performance task. I'm not saying that written test is not good, but it is more untraditional such as quiz, seat work, and projects, which students are able to express learned skills and concepts in written form. Whereas in performance, it allows learners to show that they know and are able to do in a diverse ways. Because we should not only focus on content knowledge to be assessed, but also the skills and attitudes demonstrated by the pupils. And also, if you just focus on content knowledge, social, emotional, or physical factor affects the student's performance. So, formative assessment monitors student learning, while summative evaluates student learning. Formative is a process of assessment, while summative is a product of assessment. Formative takes place during learning, while summative takes place after learning. Summative is used by students and teachers, while summative is used by teachers. Formative is not always graded or low stakes, while summative is always graded. And the goal of formative assessment is to monitor student learning, to provide ongoing feedback that can be used by instructors to improve their teaching and by students to improve their learning. And the goal of summative assessment is to evaluate student learning at the end of an instructional unit by comparing it against some standard or benchmarks. Example of formative assessment is drawing a concept in class to represent their understanding of a topic. An example of summative assessment is midterm exam and final project. So how does traditional assessment differ from authentic assessment? So traditional assessment measures students' knowledge of the content, while authentic measures students' ability to apply knowledge of the content. Traditional requires students to demonstrate knowledge by selecting a response or giving correct answers, usually test students' proficiency through paper and pencil test, while authentic requires students to demonstrate proficiency by performing relevant tasks showing application of what has been altered. Traditional assessment requires students to practice cognitive ability to recall, recognize, reconstruct of body knowledge that has been taught, while authentic provides opportunities for students to construct meaning or new knowledge out of what has been taught. So, are all performance tasks authentic assessment? No, because all authentic assessment require a performance of some kind, but not all performance-based assessments are conducted in authentic or real-world context. Performance tasks require students to demonstrate what they have been mastered specific skills and competencies by performing or producing something and is authentic to the extent that it is based on challenging and engaging tasks which resemble the context in which adults do their work. So, is self-assessment better than peer assessment? So, for me, self-assessment and peer assessment are vital in assessing and guiding students' learning and encourages reflection. However, self-assessment is better for us to know if our performance against set criteria which are informed about our strengths and weaknesses and take actions of how to improve it. With that, teacher would implement differentiated instruction to cater the individual needs of the diverse learners. So the topic that I choose for grades 1, 2, and 3 is time in the subject mathematics, which it is in spiral progression. For the assessment method, I choose traditional assessment for grade 1, like paper and pencil tests such as multiple choice and matching type, which they can develop the skills of telling and writing time by hours, half hour, and quarter hour using analog clock, with the values of practice the habit of coming on time. For the assessment method in grade 2, I choose formative assessment to monitor if the learners understand the topic, which they can develop the skills of tells and write time in minutes, including AM and PM, using analog and digital clocks with the values to be developed of valuing the importance of time. And for the assessment method in grade 3 is summative assessment, since they have already learned it in previous grades, so it is easy for them to catch up the topic. With that, they're learning to solve problems involving conversion of time measures with the values of spending time wisely.